This is 5 on your side at 5. Focused on you.
We are in storm alert. Our Weather First team is tracking some possible strong to severe storms overnight and another round on Wednesday. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Bush.
And I'm Ann Allred in for Kelly Jackson. Storms will move in well after midnight and last through early tomorrow morning. Let's check in with meteorologist Jim Castillo and the Weather First forecast. Jim.
Yeah, we had those severe storms last night around the area. Then that rain ended this morning. The ground is saturated. We had a nice dry day. The sun's finally peeking out, 77 degrees. But this is the energy we're watching. These purple areas, those are tornado watch boxes from anywhere from really Kansas into Oklahoma, even up into Nebraska. Zooming in a little bit, these are all warnings. And in the red polygon, some tornado warnings beginning to pop up northwest of Oklahoma City. But the timing for us as this line of storms moves our way will be 2 a.m. to 8 a.m. 70-mile-per-hour gusts are the main threats, but a weak spin-up tornado or two is possible. So again, we are in storm alert. We're watching that 2 a.m. to 8 a.m. time frame here where temperatures will be very close to 70 degrees. And let me show you that future cast. Here it is, put it into motion. And Kansas City, this line is there about 10 o'clock this evening. And then it really doesn't approach our western counties until 3:30 in the morning. And watch as it's expected to weaken a little bit, but individual cells still could have very high wind gusts and those spin-up tornadoes through at least 6, 7 a.m. We'll have a little bit more on this, and then the bigger threat of severe weather on Wednesday coming up.
And you can get our Weather First forecast on your phone at any time. Just text the word weather to 314-425-5355. Now to some developing news out of the Middle East. Israel is looking at a potential ceasefire proposal from Egypt and Qatar as it begins an operation in Gaza's southern city, Rafah.
Hamas says it agreed to a deal earlier today, and sources tell NBC News it's a three-phased hostage release. It would take place over 6 weeks. While the proposal does not use the word ceasefire, it does include a halt in Israeli military operations. In the first phase, Hamas would release 33 hostages, and Israel would release around 1,000 Palestinian prisoners. One diplomat says this appears to be a pressure tactic from Hamas. Israel has not agreed to it, and nothing is official right now. Israel says it will continue its operation in Rafah while working on a ceasefire deal. The two sides agreed on a temporary ceasefire last November. There was a pause in the fighting for 1 week. Hamas released about 100 hostages, and Israel released more than 200 Palestinians from Israeli prisons. Today, Israel honored the remaining Hamas hostages during Holocaust Remembrance Day. The day honors the millions of Jews murdered by the Nazis during World War II. There was a table laid out to remember the hostages. Some soldiers also visited the musical festival site where Hamas killed hundreds of people during its October 7th attack. You can read the latest on the war in Gaza by texting the word Israel to 314-425-5355.
We learned new information this afternoon about a deadly crash in Kirkwood. A 45-year-old woman was killed Saturday night at Big Bend in Geyer. 5 on your side's Justina Coronel is live there tonight, and Justina spoke with advocates who say this dangerous intersection needs to be improved. Justina.
Yeah, Mike, I spoke to neighbors and they voiced that same concern. They said Saturday night they heard a loud boom. One neighbor tells me that it sounded like an explosion. When she walked outside of her home, she already saw police at the scene behind me here.
My immediate thought was, my goodness, how fast was this crash? How fast was one of these vehicles going? It appeared that one of the tops were cut off. It was horrific.
A horrific crash at the intersection of Geyer and Big Bend in Kirkwood.
We've been lobbying very hard on this for over 5 years.
Michael Carmody considers this intersection a problem. He's with the advocacy group Safer Streets for Kirkwood.
It's just enough of this. We've got solutions.
Kirkwood police say a car headed westbound on Big Bend Saturday night slammed into a 45-year-old woman's car that was headed southbound on Geyer. That woman was killed, and the people in the other car were not hurt.
Without a doubt, speeding.
That's Carmody's biggest concern on this road. Same for Kirkwood resident Ron Rizika.
The main streets, speeding. Smaller streets, stop signs. Drivers are like water. They'll find a place to go the least resistance.
Carmody said he's been looking at a Johns Hopkins study which says narrower traffic lanes could help lower risk of traffic-related collisions.
These lanes are too wide. Wide lanes makes the driver feel comfortable, and they'll exceed the speed limit.
Right now, St. Louis County is working on a project for this specific intersection. It'll install several safety measures, such as a median to restrict left turns and an island enlargement to provide better pedestrian passage.
We're trying to push the issue, go to the media, go whatever sources we can to wake everybody up and see what we can do to get the things resolved. That's what we need.
Construction for that project at the intersection behind me will begin in 2025. Meanwhile, for this weekend's crash, police are still investigating the cause. Reporting live, Justina Cornell, 5 on your side.
Tonight, police are investigating a homicide in North St. Louis. It happened an hour and a half ago on Rossenbach Avenue. That's in the St. Louis Place neighborhood. Police have not said how the victim died or if they have a suspect. We're trying to get more information right now. We will let you know as soon as we do.
Where is former St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner? That is the question Missouri Auditor Scott Fitzpatrick is asking as he tries to track her down.
Christine Byers attended a news conference today where the auditor asked for the public's help. Christine is live downtown with his message. Christine.
Mike and Ann, Auditor Scott Fitzpatrick says his staff has sent Kim Gardner letters, tried emailing her, tried everything, tried calling her and her close associates and her attorneys, anyone who might know where she is, and no one seems to know where she's at. He would like to serve her with a subpoena, but she has so far ducked all of his attempts to do so. Kim Gardner resigned May 16th, just as the auditor was about to go to court to force her to comply with his subpoena for multiple documents related to the inner workings of her office. That includes how she was spending money and whether policies were being followed. The audit, by that time, had already been going on for 2 years because Fitzpatrick says Gardner's office was delaying handing over information. Fitzpatrick told me today his office has covered a lot of ground in the years since Gabe Gore replaced Gardner and has found evidence of mismanagement and inappropriate expenditures.
Kim Gardner knows we are trying to finish the audit. She knows there are questions that only she can answer. She knows she has the answer the people of St. Louis, that the people of St. Louis deserve. But to date, not only has she made no effort to respond to our requests, it appears she has willfully evaded our many efforts to obtain information that only she can provide.
Now, Fitzpatrick is asking anyone who may know Kim Gardner's whereabouts to call his whistleblower hotline, and that number is 800-347-8597. Fitzpatrick says he also plans to release his report with or without her sometime this year. Live outside the courthouse where Kim Gardner used to work, Christine Byers, 5 on your side.
Minimum wage, sports betting, and abortion. Petitions are submitted to get them on the Missouri ballot. Tonight, we take a look at when the issues could go to voters.
Severe weather across the country, the latest on cleanup following floods in Texas, and more on the threat in the Midwest tonight.